Hi everybody. So this one's probably going to be a talking head video. It's not going to be super visually pleasing to watch, so I encourage you to treat this one more like a podcast rather than a video, and it's going to be a long one. So hopefully I can maybe keep you company while you're doing the dishes or, cleaning your room or something. And yeah, let's get right into the video. Hello, happy Wednesday, or whatever day it is that you happen to be stumbling across this video. This is not my normal kind of content, so if you are unfamiliar with me or my channel, I am Olivia and I'm the Witch of Wonderlust. So my usual type of content does not consist of things like this. I make content about non-denominational spirituality and finding a path that works best for each individual person and that enriches their life. Anyway, it is way too hot. I'm not made for the heat, so I iced my tea today. Today I'm drinking this jasmine tea. I believe the company is called Good Young, but I will link that below if that is something that you're interested in. I am talking about my personal journey in creating this little creative business that I am in the middle of building. By no means am I an expert in any of this. I am just giving advice as to what has helped me in my personal journey in this content creating world. So I had you ask me questions on Instagram all about my creative business. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want transparency. I want to help other people create their own content created businesses. And I kind of just want us to understand each other better. And by us, I mean content creators, YouTubers, Instagrammers, and their community and their following and things like that, because I think when there is a miscommunication or you don't understand why a certain content creator is doing a certain thing, anything like that, it makes it a lot more frustrating, especially when the content creators aren't transparent. Luckily, nowadays people seem to be a lot more transparent, but I figured there can't be too much transparency, right? So especially when somebody is trying to build their own, because if you don't have any answers and everybody's just pretending that it's just like some magical thing they're keeping to themselves, that doesn't exactly help. So let's just dive right into the questions. Okay, so the first question, I'm not gonna try to pronounce any of these names because y'all know who I am. It's not gonna happen, but I'll post it on the screen so you can see it. All right, so first question, what's a difficulty that people have no idea exists? This is a really good question. Right off the bat, it's really good. I think there's a lot of difficulties that I think people don't even think about, and there were things that I didn't even think about that became challenges when I started doing this. And one of those things was trying to maintain being a business and being a real person at the same time. There's a lot of difficulties. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be like, it's really, but there are just a lot of hidden challenges that you don't even realize are there until they just are. And if somebody's not a content creator or they don't make videos or they aren't like a public figure of some sort, they just don't understand it. I think another difficulty is that getting so many messages, I don't mind it, but it gets really overwhelming. And it's like when I used to send messages to people that I liked to watch on YouTube or people that I liked on Instagram, in my head, I was just one message. I was just one person that was like, hey, could you help me out with this? Or do you have any advice in this realm? And I'd be confused as to like why they would never respond. And now that I'm in that position, I am overwhelmed with so many messages. If I already answered their question in a previous video, or I understand that whatever they're asking is something that I personally can't help with, then that is also something that I wasn't prepared for. Another difficulty is that I think because I am on the internet making videos about what has helped me, people think that I have all the answers sometimes, and I don't. And I don't believe that I claim to have all the answers. At least I hope I don't. At the end of the day, I'm a 22-year-old that just has a camera that posts videos on the internet. And sometimes I get really heavy messages about mental illness or self-harm, and I'm not a professional. I can't help with those things. People put a lot of expectation on you for things that you don't have any control or any way of helping. And then that makes you feel
helpless and overwhelmed, but also kind of obligated to answer them in some sort of way. So it's just kind of like there's a lot of work mentally and emotionally. There's a lot of learning curves everywhere you go. That was a really long-winded answer, but it was a really good question. So the next question is, how does it work to sell your products on Amazon, and how do you produce them? So the only thing that I have on Amazon currently is my Little Cup of Magic zine. And do you see how I thought about that? I was like, is it zine or zine? I did a lot of research on how to correctly design a booklet and a zine and uploaded it to Amazon Kindle. And they actually allow you to upload PDFs, high resolution PDFs of the thing that you want to create into a booklet. They are a third party that prints on demand. So I don't have like boxes and boxes of these zines that I mail out every time somebody orders them, because every time somebody orders them, they're print to order. I hope that answers your question. If you do/plan to charge for specific products, how do you decide the price? That's a really good question. I take a step back and look at it objectively. If I was the person purchasing whatever product it was, what would I pay for it? And why would I pay that price? And then as the producer of that product, I take into consideration how much money I put into that product, and then how much time I put into that product, and how I produce that product. And these variables can be so different. It just depends. So like if it's a piece of art that I can continuously print, then maybe I would charge less for those prints because that's easy. Whereas maybe you make candles and you have to take into consideration the wax that you pay for, the molds and or the jars that you pay for, and the wicks, and then the amount of time that it makes to create the candles, and then the amount of money that it takes to send off the candles. So say you spend $100 and you make 100 candles, you probably don't charge $2 for each of those candles, because in the end you would only be breaking even, because not only would you be getting that $100 back that you spent to make the candles, but then you would only have $100 left to make more candles. So you're not even making any money. So at the end of the day, you would probably charge $5 for those candles. So then you can get at least some revenue back and have money to keep for yourself and pay yourself, and be able to pay for the products all over again to create them, if that makes sense. Next question. Biggest motivating factor, and how do you break negative streaks or days? Oof, biggest motivating factor. There's a lot of motivating factors. There's a lot, because it's something that I really enjoy doing. I like the thought that this could lead to me possibly being location independent and me being able to have control over my finances in a way that I don't have to worry about if I get scheduled enough or something like that. How to break negative streaks. It's the answer that nobody wants to hear. You just start on something. I have a lot of negative streaks. I don't feel like I'm constantly motivated all the time to just be like pumping out these videos or pumping out these pictures or products or anything like that. But the two things that I put on my priority list when I have the bad days that I don't feel motivated or excited to do something is that I have to get myself in a schedule again, drink some tea, eat a good breakfast, stretch, and then do something that I enjoy for a little bit. And then I start. I just have to say, okay, at this time, I woke up at 7 a.m. and I'll give myself 2 hours. So up until 9 a.m. I can do whatever I like. Then I have to get to work. I have to open Premiere, import all my videos, and just start editing. Hi, hello. Does most of your witchy business income come from your website offerings, Etsy, or YouTube? I don't have an Etsy, so all of my products are on my website. Most of my income actually comes from YouTube. Yes, from YouTube. Was there any fear about posting your craft videos at first? Oh my gosh, yes. It was terrifying. I remember, I think even in one of my first videos that I even state, this is not something I do, this is terrifying, but here we go. And I mean, I am a white passing 22-year-old woman who is posting about spirituality going by the word witch on YouTube. So yeah, that's scary. And especially that I had not even been open about my spirituality for more than a year to like anybody. And all of a sudden I was just like, let me just put it on the internet for the whole world to see. So that was terrifying. Are you still working 3 jobs? Yes. How long in general does it take you to make your videos? I'm sure editing is a nightmare. It depends on the video. A lot of my videos are longer than 10 minutes, anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes sometimes, but usually, depending on how much I want to put into that video editing wise, like pop-ups or music or any kind of effect that I want to add, or if I have to color grade it, I think averagely it would take me anywhere between like 4 to 6 hours, just depending on what I'm editing. Yeah. What software do you use to edit your videos and thumbnails? For my videos, I used to use iMovie for years and years and years. I used iMovie, and then just a few months ago, maybe like 4 months ago, I changed to Premiere, and that was a huge learning curve. But now I think we're becoming friends. I don't know. And then for my video thumbnails, I will use both PicMonkey and Canva. Both are really good. I really like both of those for a lot of things. Do you hope to do YouTube full-time? Yes. I mean, maybe not specifically just YouTube, but yeah, I do want to just work for myself one day. I mean, that's the millennial dream, isn't it? But I do hope that. How long do your videos take to film, and how much effort do you have to make to maintain aesthetic? It depends on the video, because it could be just a talking head video like this where I don't move around, I'm not getting B-roll. It can take anywhere between 2 hours and a few days, because this video will probably take me about 2-ish hours depending on how many questions I get to. And then if I'm doing something more like a long-winded video that takes a lot of different cuts and B-rolls of me doing something, or of a product, or of a person, or a landscape, or whatever that may be, then it could take all day, it could take a couple different days. Sometimes it takes me a really long time to figure out the background or anything like that. So yeah, maintaining aesthetic, I think I just try to make things look kind of professional, but not like stuffy. Where did the idea to start a witchcraft YouTube channel come from? So I got a lot of questions about moonwater, because that was something that was a staple in my craft. It was just because I just didn't have a lot of tools to work with, and that was just one of the things that I would use a lot because it was free to make. And I had a lot of people asking me questions about that, and so I decided to make a video, and then people started asking me more questions, and so I made Beginning Your Path into Witchcraft video, and then it just kind of like spiraled from there. Do you have any other jobs to help you support you, or is social media your only job? Yes, I am a server at a restaurant. I teach pole fitness. I sometimes drive for Postmates, and then I also do this. Yes. I wish social media was my only job, but soon. I'm just putting it out there. Soon, not today though. Do you find that having an Instagram as a business takes any enjoyment from posting? No. I mean, I think that I'm more careful about posting things like personal things. It hasn't really taken away any of that joy to post the things that I like posting. You're gonna still see memes on my Instagram. What's it like building things on witchcraft? Do people take you seriously, and do you get hate? I'm posting videos on the internet about witchcraft. Some people, of course, they don't take me seriously. Of course not, and that's okay. Do I get a lot of hate? Yes, and the most interesting part is I was expecting the very religious people, you know, you're going to hell, or Satan. It's actually the people that are in the community who say some of the most awful things. Yeah, it's mostly the people that are in the community that actually hate the strongest, which I wasn't expecting, but that happens. Did you ever think that your business would get to here with so many admirers, etc.? No, and it's actually terrifying and overwhelming and really exciting all at the same time. I remember getting to 1,000 subscribers and I was like floored. I remember looking at that number and thinking 1,000 people hit a subscribe button, basically saying that they wanted to see more content from me. Did you do anything special to grow your following, or did it just happen naturally? It did happen naturally, but also I put effort into creating the things I created. So, I want everything to look presentable, to be professional, and not only to be something pleasing and something that people want to go to, whether that be a video or a website or look at a picture that I posted, but also something that, brands that might be able to sponsor me in some sort of way, I am able to look professional for other professional businesses or even other content creators. That shows a lot. So if you put a lot of effort and you make your platforms look professional, then that in itself will do a whole lot for you. How do you take such amazing pictures? Thank you. Practice, a lot of learning, and practice. I think just learning that craft of photography, and there's so much information just on YouTube alone. There's a lot of information that can really step up your game, and then as long as you take note of the information and the knowledge and then apply it, there you go. Let me see if I can find some really old photos that I took when I was like 12 on this like really bad point and shoot camera that I was like, this is such a good picture of the snake that I found on a walk, and it's blurry. It's like out of focus and it's oversaturated because I was like, let me edit this because I'm professional and I'm a 12-year-old, and I tried it, it was just bad. Here it is. And then there's like pictures of leaves that I took. Here it is. Practice. So if I can go from this blurry picture of a brick wall and my face to this, just me and a tripod, I think there is hope for you. Believe me, if I could get there, then so can you. Believe me. Long-winded answer. I am sorry. Next. Will you ever make merch? I actually do have a little bit of merch. It should be underneath the video. I am always happy to hear any ideas of any kind of t-shirts or cases or stickers or anything like that you would like me to add. I am told that my witchcraft sound, so uncomfortable, I'm sorry, that my witchcraft sound, everybody wants the nee on the t-shirt, and I'm like, why, you guys? Why? And I think that would be hilarious if I was walking around LA and I saw somebody wearing a nee t-shirt. I think I would cry. But I do have merchandise. It's underneath. And then also I have that tea sign, so that's linked below. So that's just kind of like all about how you can use tea in a magical way, in a spiritual way. And yeah, so I have a little bit of merch that you can support my channel with, if that's something that you're interested in. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Still love the long cardigan, by the way. Oh, thank you. If you would have told me 5 years ago that I would be where I'm at now, not even just like with the creative business, but just living in LA, living with my boyfriend, and doing what I'm doing, never had I ever wanted to live in California, let alone Los Angeles. Never would I ever tell you that I would move out with a boy, ever. I'd be like, no, I am too independent for that. And here we are. Honestly, the only thing that I could hope for is to have a good community of friends, a solid business that I can live off of, that I can put 100% of my effort into. I think 5 years, I see myself stronger in the skills that I currently have, stronger in the person that I am, in my beliefs, and with a good community of people whom I love and that love me back. And financial freedom. And I started raising alpacas in Peru. I don't know. Do you edit your own photos, and how did you learn, or are you self-taught? I do edit my own photos. I use Lightroom, and when I first started, like when I was talking about how when I took pictures when I was like 12, I just used free things on the internet, so I actually used the free version of PicMonkey for a really long time. How do you keep the balance between staying creative and your mundane job? It's mostly that I try to put all of my creative effort and all of my motivation into the things that I am doing creatively and leave that at that, and then when I go to work, it's just work at that time. How do you stay consistent, and what motivates you? Consistent schedule. I keep myself on a schedule. I think that's really important to, not even like a strict schedule, just as long as I upload by Wednesday, as long as I upload by Sunday. And I will just kind of figure out between the times that I'm scheduled at my serving job and between the times that I teach dancing, I just need to somehow figure out when-ish I might film or edit or things like that. Any tips for inspiring business witches for websites and using install work? Be it witchy or not, learn. We are in the age of entrepreneurship. And so, there's so much information out there, and I think gathering all of it together and seeing the things that really truly do work and applying those things, that's a big part of doing that. And then for websites, I don't know what you're trying to do specifically. There are a lot of different platforms that you can create your own website. Having a professional platform, having a professional looking website is a huge, huge thing, because I have friends that have beautiful products and they make quality things, and their website just, if I didn't know the person or the product, I would look at it and be like, these product photos were taken on a phone with the flash at like 10 o'clock at night on a dirty table. I'm not gonna buy that product. So just write down the things that you need out of a website, the things that you need a website to provide for you. So maybe that's a shopping platform, maybe that's you need a place to display all of your products, maybe that's a place to have a bunch of reviews or an about me page. Just like understand what you need as a brand, as a company. You can create a website that caters to those things, because that is so important, to have a platform that is really, really professional. I hope that helps. Next question, how much do you make on Instagram? I actually don't make anything directly from Instagram, but sometimes if a brand reaches out to me, they will request that alongside mentioning their brand or their product in a video, that I provide a picture or an Instagram post along with it. So it's kind of like a bundle package rather than just an Instagram post, but nothing straight from Instagram. What is your biggest source of income? So as of like the last 30 days, YouTube. Isn't that exciting? That's really exciting. Yeah, my creative business is actually currently my biggest source of income, right above serving. It finally surpassed it, and like I realized that I was doing my finances and I just I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So my creative business is currently my biggest source of income. It's crazy to say out loud, but it's happening. What inspires you to create content? These are things that I'm passionate about, and I like how happy it makes people. I don't know, just inspiring people inspires me. Yeah. That's what inspires me. Probably silly, but how did you have the guts to start? I have no camera edit skills. I actually have always liked to take photos and videos and editing. I was not always good at it. So if you look at like my really old vlogs, I took videos on my phone. I recorded all of my YouTube videos on my phone. Camera and editing skills, they're skills. You can build them, you can learn more, and you can get better and better as long as you apply the knowledge that you learn. So do you have a day job? And if so, when would you quit to go full-time in your creative business? I do have a few day jobs, like I said. And when would I quit? The dream. I would probably quit when I had a big enough savings that would be comfortable for me to know that I'd be okay. And also when I feel like I have enough of a structure of a business to support me financially. What would you suggest for other sources of income to go along with YouTube? So this one's a good one, because you can't just rely on the ads. While that is super nice, I do affiliate links. Sponsorships they're not steady at all, ever. So I would never suggest to rely on sponsorships, but sponsorships are definitely something that helps so much. It's just like somebody just here you go. eat. And you're just like, thank you. Affiliate links, so anything that you see below. So the tea that I've linked, say I have a certain mug that I'm using, or I'm using a tarot deck that you really like. Any links below that link to Amazon, if you click on that specific link below in my description and you buy it, a small percentage goes to me without any extra money coming from you. So you would spend the same amount that you would spend anyway on Amazon, but by using the link below, you would be supporting this channel or any other channel that you use affiliate links to. So affiliate links, I would do any kind of third-party product, kind of like Teespring. So, I loved the fact that people really wanted that's a candle for that. Those are also a really good small stream. Now, these are small streams. These are not something that I'm making an extra $600 on that too, and $600 from Teespring, and that's not how that is. They're peanuts, but anything helps. And then along with something like my printables, the printables weren't really something that I was like planning on doing, but it's something that I enjoy doing and something that it seems people really enjoy as well. That is also something that helps so much, even though they are only 50 cents per page. Do your research on different things like passive income. Look up things like passive income, because again, don't think that you're going to be getting rich off of all these things, but going along with YouTube, that helps with not just focusing on just the ads that run. What program do you use for picture editing, and how do you make items disappear specifically? Yes, Lightroom. I edit in Lightroom, and then to make something disappear, I use Photoshop. It's pretty easy. It's really just using a tripod is one of the most important things, and then taking a photo with just the background and no subject, and then taking a photo with the subject and whatever you want it to be floating, and overlapping and deleting whatever is holding the floating object up. Yeah. How did you learn to edit videos, and what is your setup for filming and editing? I started with iMovie, and it was just a lot of trial and error for a very long time. And if I ever needed to know how to do a certain thing, I would look it up and YouTube it and try to basically just monkey see, monkey do type of thing. I use Premiere Pro. I use now an external mic and a recording thing, which I recently got. So if you're noticing that my audio has been a little better in the past few videos, that's why. And then I use a small G7X Canon vlogging camera, and everything is actually always linked in my description below in the bottom of my film setup. And then a really, really bad tripod that falls apart all the time on me, but you do your job, so I can't yell at you too bad, but I do need a new one. How to get started / get a creative business off the ground. I have an Etsy for knitting and crochet projects, but I don't really know how to get my stuff sold. So for Etsy specifically, or any product, make sure that your product photos look amazing. You need that and making sure that your products can be found, I think, are the two biggest things. Because if your products are found and you have really bad photos, if you just YouTube something about how to take product photos, you'll find a lot of videos on how to do that. Make sure that you have good lighting, and you can even do flat lays on your products, or make sure you have somebody modeling them or something. Make sure that your product photos do your products justice, because if it doesn't look like something that I would want to wear, like think about if you wanted to buy your product, if you saw the product photos in somebody else's Etsy page, would you buy it? Now, say you have amazing product photos, but your products can't be found. Well, then that doesn't make any sense. So make sure that the keywords that you were using in the titles, in the descriptions, and I don't know if I don't use Etsy, I'm sorry, I don't know how it works, but if it uses like hashtags or like tags of any sort, make sure that they are both, that you have a balance of something that is very commonly searched for and something that is unique. They're tea cozies. I don't know. Let's say they're tea cozies. So you want to tag it as tea cozies, which I don't know if that would be something super popular that you'll find on Etsy. but handmade tea cozies or whatever, but you also want to tag it as knit or crochet, which will probably come up with thousands, if not millions of things. So you want to have that balance. And then once your things are found, if you are easy to find and or your products are findable and you have amazing product photos, that you want a product photo that somebody's going to click on because it catches their eye. So that, I think, on a platform where people are shopping to buy things, they're scrolling through and they want something that is handmade and beautiful. So make sure that your product photos show that. Also, make sure that your shop name or little logo or whatever is kind of catchy or neat, because if it's something that's like Tea Cozies 8450_3, I'm not gonna remember that. Just make it simple and clickable and findable. How do you edit so quickly? Are there any tips or tricks that you could share? I don't feel like I edit quickly. I feel like I edit very slow because it takes me, I think a minimum, like a fast edit for me would be 3 hours. That's only because I also add like little pop-ups and B-roll and things like that. Maybe not in this one, because this one's probably just gonna be me talking a lot. Consistency. The more you understand your software, the more you understand how things work and the structure and your workflow, and kind of like your usual step-by-step, you're gonna create that as you go. And once you get more comfortable in that, it's gonna become kind of like a second nature to you, and it's gonna be a lot easier the more you do it. So repetition. This is a good one. How do you deal with the trolls or negative comments? I just ignore them. Or sometimes, some of them are kind of funny, so I'll respond to them. Don't feed the trolls, Olivia. I know, I'm sorry, but some of them are they're just too good to not respond. A serious answer to that is that I have recently started to only reply to comments, emails, messages, things like that on 1 or 2 specific days of the week instead of whenever I can, because that becomes so emotionally and mentally exhausting and draining, especially with a lot of the really heavy things that I receive. And sometimes, people say really awful things. Put myself in that mindset of I am going to respond to comments, and some of these are not going to be pleasant comments to read, and putting that kind of like little armor on of like, I'm ready to go into battle now. And only doing that once or twice a week has helped a lot. So don't feed the trolls like I have. Don't do that. And setting a time aside specifically to respond to people and read the comments. Other than that, you just got to get thick skin, because some of them are like, what? And some of them are like, oh. And yeah. What makes you so confident? Are you ever afraid that someone you knows finds it and judges you? Yes, absolutely. A lot of my family and a lot of my friends and a lot of I think only like one of my coworkers knows that I do YouTube, but doesn't know what I do it about. It's a weird thing. Like, it's just one of those conversations that I actually hate having. If that makes them not like me as a person, then I don't want them around me, because at the end of the day, this is a huge part of who I am. I can't control that. Sucks, but I can't. So, I think growing up, you kind of get that, like, okay. You just kind of let people go if they don't want to be there. And sometimes it hurts really bad, but you just do. How do you stay motivated and or create during stressful times? Let me tell you about the last 2 months, okay? I try to keep it a schedule. I try to wake up at a reasonable time and take care of myself. I stretch, I try to meditate. I do not do this every day, and I need to, and I'm trying to get better at that. I try to eat well, I journal, and I start. I set a time and I start. I need to edit at 10 o'clock. Get all my videos together, put it in Premiere, and just start. No matter how much I don't want to. Sometimes you just gotta do it. How many hours in a day / days in a week do you work on your content in general? So a lot of the time I'll work from like 9 or 10 a.m. to I have to force myself to stop working at 9 or 10 p.m. So, and I'm like, I work 12 hours a day. No, I take lunch breaks, and I've actually gotten to this point where I have set alarms on my phone where I need to take breaks, because because I enjoy doing it, I lose track of time and I will keep working. I probably would say that I work anywhere between 20 and 30 hours a week on my videos, and the days, it can be 7 days a week. Maybe I'll work a few hours every day. So it just kind of depends, but I think generally 20 to 30. But if I don't work at my other jobs, I'll probably bump it up more, because then I can. What's your favorite thing to do content creating wise? Just content create. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I like adding the details. I like doing the tweaks, seeing what it started out as and the finished product. This one's a really good one. Do you ever struggle with creating your business overall, or is it ever more mentally taxing than rewarding? I've had days that, again, going back, if I've ever opened an email, or, I mean, I've gotten some emails that are mean, like, why, you sat down and you wrote this to somebody, like, why would you do that? It does get to that point where I've read too many hate comments, or had too many trolls, or had too many emails that I'm just like, that's not what I wanted to hear all at the same time, and it does kind of get you down, and you have to really fight that mindset that you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's just a ridiculous thought, because it's like, there's so many beautiful and amazing things, and then just because somebody was like, you suck on the internet, you're like, I don't want to do it. Okay, so my lighting changed because the sun went down and I have to use my lamp. So, sorry. How are you handling your YouTube upload schedule? I want a video from you every day, but also, there's some creators out there that I'm like, why can you just give me videos every day? I love you. I'm flattered that you want that much of my content and that much of me. Like, I am trying to post twice a week. I have to film and edit and do the thumbnail and description and affiliate links and like everything else in that video for tomorrow. So it just kind of like depends on how good I am at scheduling and time management, and also how much I'm working at the restaurant or working at the pole studio, because I have to manage that time. But I'm trying to get 2 videos out every week. How do you go about planning for a video? So I have a little notebook. It's a junk notebook. I will write like random, this is my charm bag one. So I will outline it. Some people will script their videos, but I like a little bit more of like a free-flowing vibe, because at the end of the day, a script is just like, hi, this is my video, this is what it's about, and that's just uncomfortable for everybody. So I will actually just write it down, kind of what I want to say in my intro, if there's anything that I need to talk about prior or say in the very beginning that I don't want to forget, and then kind of put bullet points of like where I go in the video and kind of try to have a good flow. And I've only recently started outlining in the past few months, and it's helped significantly, so that's good. Where did the name Witch of Wonderlust come from? I'm starting a YouTube soon, but I can't find a name. So Wonderlust with an O, it is on purpose misspelled, not Wanderlust, it's Wonderlust, because I am constantly loving to learn, and my whole slogan, I guess, is to understand the universe for what it is, because that's kind of just like how I feel about everything, is that nothing is ever going to be fully understood, and even things that we know to be fact will be disproven. I mean, I don't believe that everything is going to be disproven, but it's just like there are things in science that we were like, this is fact. And then 5 years, 10 years later, we're like, actually, that's not fact. This is fact. And so it's like, finally just was like, you know what? I'm a practitioner, and, you know, and a cult is the knowledge of unknown things, the knowledge of mysterious things. So I thought it matched, you know, witches are associated with the occult, and the Witch of Wonderlust, because I am constantly wanting to understand the universe for how it is. Yeah. If you can't find a YouTube name, honestly, just something will click, because for years, I've had totally different names that I was like, this is the name I'm gonna go by. This is it. This is my brand. This is it. This is me now. But it wasn't, and there was just something wrong that just didn't feel 100%. So when you find that thing that you're just like, yes, this is it, kind of like, the Witch of Wonderlust, I just feel like that is who I am. That is me right now, and that feels like me. And when you find that name, I think just stick with it and roll with it. But I unfortunately cannot help you personally finding a name, but roll with it. So that is it. This is probably going to be a very long video, but I appreciate all of the questions, and I hope that a little bit of that was slightly helpful. I understand that this wasn't a super interesting video to watch or anything like that, but hopefully, if you just kind of like went podcast style on this and popped in your earbuds and just listened while you were like cleaning your room or maybe driving or something, hopefully this was some valuable information, and I hope that this kind of gave you a little bit more insight as to how content creating works. And if you guys have any other questions, I would love to have those commented below, and then maybe I will make another video if this is something that is interesting to you. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you Sunday for a really interesting video that I have planned. And other than that, as always, thanks for stopping by. Best of luck. Be kind to each other, and may your gods treat you as you've treated others. Bye.